Greetings and welcome to my second attempt at Krustoo Farms Homestead Challenge. We are now in the first month of the third year. Now, this is actually my third attempt at recording here. As you see, I've already lost half the day. It's 1 o'clock in game because OBS crashed on me twice. And I come over here to pick up the flexi thing because I'm gonna go do a cultivating contract for Ben. To put my new tractor and new cultivator to good use. This morning I sold off the rest of my, most of my straw. I built another dairy, as well as a sugar manufactory, 2 more greenhouses, a preserved foods factory, and another dairy barn. So once I get this contract done, I'm going to start hauling more cattle over to my new dairy barn. Also overnight, like I said, I wasn't familiar with the Landini brand. I've heard the name before, but I knew nothing about them. So I went and looked them up. Landini is an Italian company. I should say it's an Italian brand owned by a company called Argo. A lot of people, when I was first looking this up, was confusing it with Agco. But no, Argo is a different company from Agco. Argo has about 4 brands. The other 3 brands I've never heard of, so that means Landini is perhaps their flagship brand. And for an agricultural machinery company with only 4 brands, I would almost go so far as to call that independent manufacturer, because most of the other companies, have like a dozen different brands under them. So when I found out it was Italian, I thought for sure they'd have Fiat engines, which Fiat is a lowest bid manufacturer. They're not per se bad. They just don't pursue quality. They pursue the bare minimum that will work for the lowest price. Basically, yeah, lowest bid. But instead, Landini used Deutsch engines, which are actually a really good engine. So that kind of gives me a positive impression of Landini equipment overall, that they're using the better German engines instead of the locally produced Italian engines. So overall, I've got to think that it's probably a pretty decent tractor. Man, they're making a lot of noise upstairs right now. I don't know if you can hear that through the microphone or not, but yeah, they're stomping around like crazy up there. Alright, this contract is working, so I'll be back when it's done. Alright, almost done with this contract. Oh, yeah, literally done with this contract now. And since I have narrow tires on this tractor, I'm not worried about doing any crop damage. Since that looks like that might be oilseed radish there, so that can't be damaged. I'll go ahead and collect this contract. That's nice. Yeah, it's 5:30, but since it's January, 5:30, it's dark. I'll get on back to my farm, and I'll get the cattle bought for my new dairy barn. In this instance, since I'm no longer really that concerned about money, I'll go ahead and just pay for the cattle to be delivered instead of going and picking them up myself to save time. I'm more concerned about getting the production up and running than I am about saving a few dollars. Because this year's success really has some, of course, money has some effect, but it's really about getting these large production goals met. So I gotta make 10 butter and 10 cheese this month. And really, last month I struggled just to get 5 butter and 5 cheese. So this is going to be a tough goal to meet. That's the reason why I built a third dairy, and I built a second dairy barn to increase my throughput of dairy products. I believe this episode is coming out November 2nd. So that means 2 days before Highlands Fishing comes out. I'm going to do my next series after Highlands Fishing, of course. I think this will probably wrap up around, I want to say the 14th, which is my wedding anniversary. That'd be pretty cool. Since I made it to year 3, this is going to be a pass or fail. I'm not going to do another attempt if I fail. I'm just going to call it a good enough attempt, an interesting experience. Alright. These are my Angus for the beef. And this is my preserved food. And it's chugging away. Looks like my greenhouse is already throwing it quite a bit of material. And here's my new dairy barn. It's very similar to my other dairy barn, except for this one has a little bit of an outdoor pasture, because I don't like having barn-raised animals. I prefer pasture-raised. Alright, so let's do 20 Holstein cows. Alright, and then next month, once I get some more money brought in, I'll go ahead and buy 10 more Holsteins. Oh, I better check to make sure I actually got food in there before I call it a night. And no, I don't have any food in there. Oof, that's a close to being an epic mistake. Alright, I'll go park this. I believe my Ford is still hooked up to my little trailer, which is what I'll need to move food into the dairy barn. Alright. Yes. can't see that. Didn't see that fence post there. My Landini is too big to go into this barn to do the feeding, so I have to use the Ford and the smaller trailer for this. This is why even on big farms you still have one or two small tractors. Alright, tip side is left, that's correct. It's kind of a weird that my flashlight lights up better than the headlights on this tractor do. And then I'll grab a load of hay. And my wife's demanding my attention here, but I want to finish this up quick, like before I go up and deal with her. So I'm right on the edge of finishing this episode. If I get this knocked out and get up there before she starts serial calling me. There's one thing a wife can't stand, it's that if I don't jump to her beck and call instantly. I'm gonna just drop my trailer for here, right here for now, and go park this tractor. Hi, honey, I'm home. All right, and thank you very much for watching.